Look at him laugh. Then again, he doesn't know how much things cost in the summer. Anyway.
If you go skiing.
If you go skiing in the summer,
yes.
I should imagine it is. Yeah. Actually, no, it's not. If you're actually going to go skiing, you're going to have to go to some of the Alps or something like that. Surely that's good. Or up Mount Everest, and they make windows. So anyway, yes, we have Richard Johnson. Now tonight, we have Tony Johnson, young Richie's father.
Oh.
It's a family affair. It's a family affair. I'm not even pissed. Sarah, let's start at the middle of this round of applause this time, okay? So you're going to start the round of applause. Not yet. So when I say go, you're going to start the round of applause, and then the ladies on the other side of you, they're going to start, and there's going to be a ripple all the way down to Des, and all the way to Derek and Paul, and I'm going to include everybody. And we're going to cheer Mr. Tony Johnson!
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, I love the North East. But it wasn't always like that. It was nearly 40 years ago when I first came to the North East. I got myself a job with ICI on Teesside. Now ICI, they provided me with digs in Redcar and a one-way train ticket. Now in those days we didn't have the internet. We didn't have Google Earth. So you were never quite sure what you were letting yourself in for. But I'd heard of Redcar before, because I watched the racing results on the telly. So I knew they had a race course. That's okay, I thought. I beat the races before. Well, once. I beat the Royal Ascot. So at least I knew what I was letting myself in for. I knew I had this picture in my mind of what Redcar was like. Anyway, that all went tits up. As soon as the train arrived in Middlesbrough, I first saw the first oil storage tank and my very first town centre chemical factory. I remember the name of that chemical factory as well, even though it's a lot of years ago. It was called Carless Chemicals. Now some Middlesbrough wit had graffitied an E into this name, so they were now Careless Chemicals. Only on Teesside in the 1970s would you get away with citing the Careless Chemical Company in the middle of a town. If that wasn't bad enough, the train carried on, and as we were passing the British Steel coke ovens near South Bank, I thought, this can't be right. So I was up looking for the guard. I found him. I said, hang on a minute, mate. He said, I think I got the wrong connection in Darlington. He looked at me ticket. He said, no, you're on the right train. I said, but that's supposed to look like Ascot, not a scene from fucking Armageddon. Anyway, I was in the right place. And in those first few weeks, I met some real strange buggers. Actually, they weren't that strange, they were just normal Redcar folk, but at the time, they were real. I thought, these are real strange buggers. One of the strangest was the landlord in my local pub. And he found out that I was Welsh. And before I got a drink, I'd walk into the pub, and he'd say, hello, Tom, say yucky da. Now, as a Welshman, wherever you go in the world, there's always someone comes up and says yucky da to you. I have no idea why they say it. It's not even Welsh. I don't even know what it means. But anyway, yucky da it was. And then one night I went in the pub, and he says, hello, Tom, say yucky da. Yucky da. Now sing Delilah in the style of Tom Jones. I thought, whoa, hang on a minute, this has got to stop. He's going to be having me shagging a sheep next. Anyway, at this time I thought to myself, I've had enough of the North East, I'm off. So, but just before I left, I thought, I'll go and have one more drink in the pub. And I went in, and there I saw her, across the room. it wasn't the sheep. It was my future wife. Yeah? Now, when you fall in love, and you want some time together, and you like to get a little bit intimate, and one of the tricks that you use when you're young is that you say things to your parents like, oh, you just disappear off down the pub, we'll babysit, look after the house. That's usually good for buying a couple of hours of good open and fondling time until they get back. But if you remember, I was living in Dick's. And the landlady's first rule was no women back here, it's not a knocking shop, you know. So that left us with her house. Now, her parents weren't inclined to go to the pub. In fact, most evenings they were ready for bed by the time the 9 o'clock news had finished. But we managed, you know. I mean, there's ways and means, we managed. Although it did leave me a little bit traumatised. I mean, to this day I still can't get a hard on unless she says, shh, my parents will hear you. Anyhow, eventually we got our own place. And that was brilliant. We could have noisy sex. Way! Noisy sex. Get in there. But then noisy sex leads to having kids. And having kids leads to us saying, the kids are here. Sorry, love, it only works with the parents leave. And then eventually the kids grow up and they move away from home, they go off to college or they get a job. And when they come back and they bring their new partner with them and they stay with you for the first night, that's when you actually come to think that maybe I'm the only person in the world that's worried about people hearing me having sex. Anyway, I've already blown it because I was told before I came out tonight, whatever you do in your act, don't mention sex. At my age, I'm supposed to talk about, you know, sort of mature things. Like your pension. And gardening. And other, you know, sort of things like this. In fact, we had a mature conversation this morning over breakfast. And she said to me, do you want to be cremated or buried? I think I'll go for buried. And then, knowing I'm not really from this area, she said, well, where would you like to be buried? I thought, up to me knackers in Kira Knightley will do very nicely, thank you very much. Thank you and good night.